Welcome back, yogis. Welcome to another practice with 30min Yoga. I'm Ali, and today's practice is a short but very sweet stress relief Yin Yoga for shoulders, neck, inner ears, head, just to release all that stress that we carry up in that region. So as we move through, just honor your body and just be mindful of where you're at today. So if something really doesn't feel right, if it feels vulnerable or you just feel a little twinge somewhere, just be mindful of that and stay within your boundaries for today. So we're going to go ahead and get started. For today's practice, it may be helpful to have a block or two, but not necessary, okay? But you'll want to have a yoga mat or on carpet or a blanket, just something soft underneath you for the yin practice. All right, so we're going to get started just in an easy cross-legged seat. Just be mindful of which leg you have in front because halfway we're going to switch, okay? And we're going to begin with some neck rolls, just going half moons, just ear to shoulder and then back. And it's always nice just to go nice and slow and just notice if there's a spot that maybe you need to stop and hold for a moment and just get a bit of a deeper release. And now there's no harm in doing a full circle if you don't have any neck issues. It's just that for some it doesn't feel great, that pinching of that vein that goes up the back of the neck. Sometimes that can cause a little bit of dizziness. So it's up to you whether you want to do a full circle or just stay with the half moon. But the next time that right ear is over at the right shoulder, just hold that right ear over there. And then to extend that left arm out to the side, just hovering over the floor. You can just play with the angle of the hand, whether you like sort of the palm down or whether it feels nice to turn the palm forward or maybe even start to rotate the palm to the sky a little bit. You can also play with the angle, the height of the hand, just trying to find that sweet spot where you're feeling a nice stretch down the left side of the neck. Then you can take your right hand, just place it on top of that left ear. You can bring a little bit of tension with that right hand, a little bit of pushing down with the hand and then a little bit of resistance with the head. And again, play with the angle, maybe bowing the chin down feels nice, maybe bowing it down towards that left armpit. That often feels good. And just finding a spot where you can really settle into some of that tension to release it and just allow it to leave the physical body here. And just utilizing that breath to soften and let go. Maybe you've let go of the tension, you need to change that angle up a little bit. Just being where it's right for you right now. And just take 3 more rounds of breath here. Again, with the focus of letting go and softening. And then just use that right hand to just sort of guide your head back on straight. Release that left arm. And we'll just start with those half moons again, a little gentler here because you're going to feel a little bit vulnerable, maybe a little bit of stiffness from doing that stretch. So just take your time, rolling that neck. Again, up to you whether you stay with that half moon or whether you do a full circle. And don't be shy if you want to stop and hold at a certain spot, go for it, make it your own. But the next time that left ear is at the left shoulder, just hold there. Extend that right hand out to the side. And just notice where you need that angle to be. Then you can take that left hand, bring it on top of that right ear. Again, you can bring a little bit of resistance if that feels okay for you. That little bit of push and pull between the left hand and your head. You can change the angle. You can bow that chin down towards that right armpit. Maybe that feels good. Maybe changing the angle of the right arm. I'm just looking for that sweet spot where you feel like, oh yes, I need to hold there. I need to get rid of that tension. It is no longer serving me. Just let it go. We build up tension in our body like sort of sheets of paper. They get stacked over time, whether it's from physical strain or whether it's emotional stress that we're holding on to. It sort of forms in these sheet-like layers. So just trying to remove some of those sheets today here. I'll just take 3 more rounds of breath. Again, don't be shy about playing your edge, playing your angles, and just making it your own. And then again, use that left hand just to sort of guide your head back on straight. And just make a little bit of a shoulder roll here, just to let go of any last little tension that wanted to come back with us. Awesome. We're gonna go ahead and come into a nice tabletop position, all fours. So knees under our hips, our hands under our shoulders. And we're gonna come into a nice thread the needle here. I'm gonna take that right arm and reach it up to the sky to begin with. Give it a nice stretch. And then on an exhale, I'm gonna thread the needle. So I'm gonna bring that right arm underneath the left, right palm to the sky. Now you can stay here if this feels awesome for you, but you can also play around with that left hand position. So that left arm can go straight out if that feels nice. You might start to feel that in the bicep or the left shoulder. Or for some, they prefer, you could bring it to the small of the back. Or you could even take that left hand and hold on to that right inner thigh. Okay, so lots of options to what feels right for you. Just trying to settle in and come back to the essence of letting go and softening and really just allowing the pose to do the work. Yin Yoga is all about allowing. It's not about doing. So it's finding what we call your edge. So just outside your comfort zone in the stretch, and then just settling into it and allow time to be the magic ingredient, not effort. It's not to say that poses won't be uncomfortable at times, because they will be, but certainly never pain or vulnerability. So if you feel any of that, or you feel like your breath cannot be smooth and soft, these are all signs that you've gone too deep and you need to back off and just find a gentler version that works for you today. And every day we are so different, right? We're working our bodies in different ways on different days. So sometimes these stretches, one will feel great one day, the other will be more challenging another. It's just accepting that, accepting the one thing that always stays the same is change. It's always going to be change. So just accept that and accept where you are right now. We'll just take 3 more rounds of breath here. And then we'll just slowly make our way back into that tabletop position. Nice. And setting up again for the other side. So taking that left arm, reach it up to the sky, get a nice stretch there before you thread the needle. I'm just gonna change sides here just so you can see, rotate here. So threading that left arm through the right. And again, finding that position for your right arm. Maybe it's straight out. Maybe that palm stays by the head. Maybe bring that right hand to the small of the back. Maybe you hold on to that left inner thigh. All up to you, what feels right for you. There's no one better than the other. It's all just really trying to make that connection with who you are, with the dimensions of who you are. That's the real yoga. That's where the real benefit comes in, is when you can let go of any judging or comparing or thinking you're supposed to look a certain way, opposed to really just going a little bit deeper and just listening to what feels right, and let go of any expectations and just enjoy the consequences of being who you are right now. And this can be a tricky thing for many of us, myself included. There's times where I think I should be pushing it harder. There's times when I don't push hard enough. So it's really trying to find that middle ground and just really practicing getting to that middle path, that medium zone for myself, finding the balance. And we can take that same lessons, those same practices from our mat into our everyday life of trying to find balance, trying to find that middle road. We'll just take 3 more rounds of breath here on this side. And then just slowly releasing and coming back into that tabletop position. Now from here, if you have 2 blocks, you can take your 2 blocks. I'll give you an option for puppy pose here with 2 blocks. If you don't have any blocks, don't sweat it. I'm going to give you the option without the blocks. So puppy with the blocks, your 2 blocks out in front of you. You're going to try to do your best to keep your seat over your knees. You're going to try not to come back like this. You're going to keep it over your seat. You're going to bring those elbows, the backs of the biceps, onto those blocks as you come down, and bring your forehead down to your mat between your blocks. And you can do the reverse prayer, palms together behind your neck. Okay? So there's one option as your puppy pose today with the blocks. Another option, if blocks aren't available to you today, we can still do our puppy pose, still keeping the seat over your knees there, and just coming down to bring your forehead down to the mat, arms extended out in front of you. Up to you whether you stay on your palms or whether you bring the backs of your forearms down onto your mat, okay? Now, if you come down and it feels really intense, you want to shorten that stance between the knees and the elbows, and that will bring a little bit of ease to the pose for you. So again, just finding your sweet spot that works for you today, okay? I'm just gonna come back with my blocks here. Bring my forehead down to my mat. And just settle into this amazing stretch for the shoulders, the front of the chest. Actually even stimulates the back body as well here. So getting into the back of the heart. And just bring yourself back once you find that sweet spot for you into the essence of letting go, of softening. Even though it can feel quite intense for the shoulders, right? So many of us have tender shoulders. We carry so much stress up there. So just being mindful that you're in that medium zone where you're not pushing too much, but you're just pushing enough, where you're at about 75% of your maximum, where you can settle in, where the breath can still be smooth. And you can just encourage your body to let go of some of those sheets of stress. We'll just hang out here for about another 30 seconds or so. But always being mindful of any time the time is too much for you and you need to back off. Please listen to your inner self. The true teacher is inside of you. And I'm just here to guide yourself to that teacher, to encourage you to slow down, to soften, and to listen to what you need from your teacher. We'll just take 3 more rounds of breath here. Now, out of puppy, you're going to want to release very slowly, very gently. Those shoulders are going to feel very vulnerable. You may feel 10 years older in the upper body. That's completely normal, okay? Just slowly releasing. And making any movement that feels right for you. Maybe a little cat-cow. Maybe a little child's pose. Just bringing a little bit of fresh blood back into those shoulders. And I'm going to rotate on my mat here. We're going to come into shoelace pose. So I'm going to take that right knee in front and cross the left knee behind, as if you're crossing your knees. Then you're going to open up your feet wide enough so that you can sit back and put your seat behind, okay? So shoelace pose. If you come down and that bottom knee feels like, whoa, that's too intense, you just extend that bottom leg out in front for half shoelace, okay? Otherwise, we're in this full shoelace. And if you're just feeling like you can handle the full shoelace, but you just need a little support, you can always use a block wherever you need it. Some people will need it between the knees. Others may need it on that left seat, okay, side of your seat. So don't fear your blocks. They're here to help us, okay? Then from our shoelace pose, we're just gonna come into a gentle twist just to begin. So take that left hand on the outside of that right knee. Bring that right hand behind you. Take a nice inhale as you elongate through the core. And as you exhale, just find a gentle twist here. Don't worry about how far back you're going or how far your gaze is going back. Just to where you're feeling this gentle twist for the spine. Twisting is a wonderful thing we can do for our spine. We need to move it in all 6 directions, so forward and back, side to side, and twist to twist. So a really great thing to do for both the spine, but also for the front of your body too. All your internal organs, they all get this sort of stimulation, the squeeze out of old stale blood, and then fresh blood will move back in as we come out of the twist. So you can just slowly bring your gaze back first, and then your whole self. And then from here, we're going to bring that right hand, and we're just gonna bring it up the small of the back, so a half Nelson here. So the back of the hand is coming up my back. And then we're just gonna find a nice little lean over to the left. So I'm just gonna take that left hand out, just gonna walk it over, still trying to keep that right sit bone onto my mat. And just coming for a little bit more intensity on that half Nelson on the arm, and also getting a little bit deeper into that right hip socket here. You can also always use a nice block here too. You could put that left elbow down onto a block if it's handy. And just doing your best to relax. So if you feel like you're gripping in your legs, if you're holding on to muscle to try to hold the pose, just encourage yourself to let go and soften. You can do this by wiggling your toes or just sort of shimmying your hips a little bit from side to side, and just encouraging the lower body to let go and soften. The less you grip and hold on, the more you'll open up and let go. So just continue to encourage your physical body to do that. Oh, let's take 3 more rounds of breath here, making any movement that feels right with the neck. If the half Nelson isn't serving you, you can always release, okay? Now we're just gonna slowly bring ourselves back up. Release that right arm, give it a little twist, bring back some fresh blood. And then we're gonna come into eagle arms. So I'm gonna bring that right elbow under the left, And then I'm gonna try to bring my palms together, but that may not work for you. It may be the backs of the hands or holding a thumb, or you still may be out in sort of a range like wider in your eagle arms, and that's okay. If you are, you can extend that left arm straight and use that right inner elbow to pull it in, okay? And still get a nice stretch for that left shoulder. So wherever you're at, just owning your version of it. If the elbows are tight together like mine are, you're gonna wanna lift up the elbows and bring the forearms away from you. And then as you do that, try to encourage the shoulders to move away from the ears. Sometimes we bring ourselves right up. We're just bringing all that tension right up. Here we want to let go of it. We want to stretch it out, make space for it to slide off. We're just going to be here for about 45 seconds or so. It is a little bit more yawn-like, a little bit more active, but just really trying to stay with this softness, with the idea of being still and going inward and letting go. If you feel those elbows slipping, just remind yourself, just like Superwoman, up, up, and away. So elbows up, forearms away from us. And we'll just take 3 more rounds of breath here. And then just slowly releasing your version of your eagle arms, taking your time, making any movement that feels right. And I'm just gonna come forward onto my knees and rotate my body here. I'm just gonna come into a down dog, just a gentle down dog here, just to counter that shoelace pose. I'm just gonna pedal out my feet a little bit and sway a little bit from side to side. And then when you're ready, we're coming down for the other side. So that left knee out in front this time, right knee behind it, opening up the feet nice and wide, making space for that seat. Again, if that bottom knee does not like that, you just extend that bottom leg long for half shoelace. Also, you can always use the blocks, place them between the leg or under your back seat, okay? Whichever version you're in, we're gonna begin with that nice little twist again. So just holding on to the outer left leg, bringing that left hand behind, and just finding your version of your twist, elongating through the core, as if someone's pulling a string from the crown they had straight up to the sky. Remembering it's not the intensity, it's the quality of the movement. So the deeper you can go, the more connection you can make with not only your physical self, but your energetic body, your heart body, your mind, your awareness. That's where the real magic is going to happen. That's where you're going to find more opening, more space. You're going to let go of more tension that way. Now we'll just slowly bring our gaze back first, and then our whole self. We're going to come in for that half Nelson. So bringing that left arm up the small of the back, just to where it's comfortable for you. And then just beginning to walk that right hand out, maybe using a block to put your elbow on. Maybe the elbow can come down to the floor, but trying to keep that left hip down as much as possible. Trying to get sort of that nice stretch happening out of that hip socket. Maybe you feel it down the IT band, your sciatic nerve that runs on the outer thigh there. And just letting go and softening. You can soften your face and soften your feet. And just enjoy this nice sort of double stretch here. So still getting into the hips and our shoelace and getting nicely into that left shoulder as well with the half Nelson. So play with the neck and the head, making any adjustments or angles that feel right or any movement. And we'll just hang out here for another 3 rounds of breath or so. And when you're ready, just slowly bring yourself back up, releasing that half Nelson and just making any movement with that hand to bring some fresh blood back in. And then from here, we're going to bring that left elbow under the right this time and trying to bring our palms or the backs of the hands or grabbing a finger together. Again, if that doesn't work, if you're super tight in the shoulders and your hands are out wide like this, you're going to extend that right arm long and take that left elbow in and just get a nice stretch for the right shoulder here, okay? Otherwise, if you're more bound in eagle arms, the elbows are going to come up and the forearms away from you. Doing your best to soften through the shoulders and just try to get some release there. And this is a great opportunity to use that breath to close the eyes, take the focus off the physical self, and really bring that mind-body connection. So bring the intention to where you're feeling the stress and just bring that mindset of letting go and softening. You can use your inhale and exhale to do this. So as you inhale, visualize that inhale filling up that region, whether it's the shoulders, the back, the upper back, the neck, with the inhale. And as you exhale, visualize the tension washing away with that exhale. We're just here for about another 4 rounds of breath. Again, if those elbows have split, just remind yourself, up, up, and away. Elbows up, forearms away from you. And then in your own time, just slowly and gently releasing that eagle arms, making any movement that you need to with the hands. And then just slowly uncrossing the knees, extend the legs straight out in front of you for a moment. Bring the hands behind your back, fingers away from you, and just give yourself a nice little counter stretch here. And we're going to come into our final move before Savasana. We're going to come into a nice banana shape. So we're going to align ourselves on the right side of our mat, nice and long. So I'm coming to hug the right side of my mat. And then I'm going to drag that left leg over to the left side, and then I'm going to drag that right one to go along with it. So now I'm starting to make this C curve with my lower body. Now I'm going to finish off the banana curve by bringing my upper body towards the left side as well. From here, it may feel nice to bring your arms overhead and grab your elbows and just sort of settle into this banana shape. Maybe slide a little bit away, just settle into where it feels manageable for you. If you're looking for something a little bit deeper for that right hip socket, you can try crossing that right ankle over the left. That may feel amazing, or you can't even cross it. Don't sweat it either way. These are just options, okay? You're trying to find your version of your banana, and whatever you need to look like to achieve a nice stretch, own it and be with that version. If holding onto the elbows is too much, you can always just find more of like a U shape or a diamond around the head. Wherever you're at, we're going to settle in for about a minute here in our banana yin pose. Again, multitasking here by getting deep into the right hip socket, as well with the arms overhead, either holding the elbows or in the diamond or the U shape, getting a nice stretch for the shoulders, the chest, the upper back. And again, just encouraging yourself to soften and let go. So try not to hold on or grip or clench anywhere. Really just use that mind to encourage the physical, energetic body to let go and soften. I'll just take 3 more rounds of breath here. And then just gently, if you have the right ankle over the left, just gently uncross. If you're holding onto the elbows, gently release. And just slowly bring yourself back to the center of your mat first. You can knock your knees together for a moment, open up the feet as wide as your mat, and just allow those hips and the lower spine just to rebound and reset there. Then when you're ready, we're going to scoot ourselves over to the left side of our mat, setting up for the other side for our banana. So dragging that right foot over to the right side, and then the left goes to meet it. I'm going to bring my arms overhead as I drag my upper body over to that right side as well, making that full banana curve. If you want to try crossing that left ankle over the right this time, it may feel good on this side, or maybe it doesn't. Again, there's no right or wrong, okay? Just being somewhere where you can feel a nice stretch coming out of that left hip socket. And with the arms, whether you're holding the elbows or whether you're making more of a diamond or a U shape, being somewhere where you're just feeling this really sort of medium stretch. That's where we want to be. When we talk about sort of the principles of Yin Yoga, the first one, finding what we call that edge. So just outside your comfort zone where it's still manageable. You're feeling something, but you're not overdoing it. That's what we mean by playing our edge. And then the second principle, finding the stillness in the pose, but it's always okay to move if you need to bring a little movement to open up. You need to roll your neck or wiggle your fingers and your toes. But when we say sort of stillness, we really mean going inward and making a connection. And often that's done more easily in a state of stillness, of rest. And then the real magic, the real juice is time. And that's why in Yin Yoga we do hold for at least 90 seconds our stretches. It takes time to go into the soft tissues of the body. The muscle will always take the stretch first. It's the dominant tissue. But we're trying to go deeper, not only into our muscle, but trying to go into the connective tissue, the fascia, your ligaments, your tendons, the areas that make up your joints. And these areas take time. So that's why we hold for a period of time. We'll just take 3 more rounds of breath here on this side. Maybe you found some opening and you could try crossing the ankles if they're not already. Or holding onto the elbows if they're not already. Just always playing your edge. And then just gently, if the ankles are crossed, uncrossing. If you're holding your elbows, release. Gently making your way back to the center of your mat. This time you can hug those knees in for a moment and just get a little bit of release for the lower spine. Maybe roll a little bit from side to side. Then coming into our final pose of Savasana, you can keep the soles of the feet on your mat, knock your knees together, bring your arms out to a 45-degree angle, palms up to the sky, close those eyes and just allow yourself for the last minute here to be in the ultimate pose, corpse pose, Savasana, the ultimate rebound. And just softening your breath, allowing your body to be heavy, and just giving your body a chance to find the realignment. We've stimulated all that fascia, connective tissue, the cells of the body, and now the stillness gives them that opportunity to realign themselves in a more productive place, a stronger place. So it's really important just to have a moment of rest or recovery after any type of exercise. And just supporting the body to strengthen. So just here for the last 30 seconds or so, just give yourself permission just to be. And then just slowly bring your attention back. You could wiggle your toes and your fingers a little bit. You could hug those knees in again towards the chest. And just bring that forehead up towards the knees and just begin to roll forward and back, crossing those ankles. And when you feel like you have the momentum to sit up, just coming up to an easy cross-legged pose. You can close the eyes one last time. If it serves you, you can bring your palms together and your hands at heart center. And just take a moment to notice how you feel, the overall essence of who you are. Turning up the sides of your mouth and give yourself a great big thank you for offering up your practice and your time today. I hope this practice nourished your mind, your body, and your spirit. Namaste.